What's good, everyone? It's Madara Uchiha back here with another what if. And this what if, as you can see by the thumbnail, it's basically going to be what if Deku merged with the sludge villain. And it's gonna have a slight twist to it that not many people have probably thought of, or really, I doubt anyone has thought of. And yeah, that's it. I mean, if you like it, well, hit the like button and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, leave some feedback in the comment section. And if you guys have any ideas, and I know you all do have some ideas, if you guys have any ideas, leave them in the comments. So let's get into it. And okay, so where we start off is a 4-year-old Izuku going with his mom to the quirk doctor. And, you know, Izuku, he's kind of happy in the car with his mom. He's like, Mom, when I get my quirk, I'm going to be super strong, like All Might. As he raises his little All Might, figure into the air. And Inko, she's like, yeah, you really are, Izuku. You're gonna be the best hero. As when they get to the quirk doctor, they're sitting there, they're waiting, and then a doctor comes out and goes, Izuku Midoriya family. As Inko raises her hand, she's like, that's us. And the doctor goes, okay, well, come with me. As the doctor goes into the room, and Inko and Izuku follow. They sit down, they do some tests on Izuku, and once the tests get back, the doctor walks up and goes, well, I hate to break it to you, miss, but your son has kind of a weird quirk. It's kind of useless, really. As Inko, she's like, what do you mean? What do you mean useless? As what happens is, the quirk doctor tells her, well, your son's quirk is called last minute fusion. And Inko, she's like, well, what does that do? As doctor's like, well, I was getting to that. The quirk basically allows the user that if they're in a life or death situation, whoever's the person inflicting damage upon them, they will just automatically fuse with that person. It doesn't matter who it is. As Inko, she's like, oh, okay. As Izuku, he's kind of crying, and Izuku's like, does that mean I can't be a hero? And the doctor's like, no, I'm sorry, kid, but you can't be a hero. As that shatters Izuku. Like, he is gone. And from that day forward, Izuku started to be a whole lot colder towards people. Like, he's just not caring. And what happens is basically, like, we're gonna do a time skip to the second to last day of school. And Izuku's in his room, or Izuku's in the classroom and everything. Everyone's chatting, and the teacher opens the door and he walks in. He's like, okay, everyone, settle down. And they all get quiet. And he's like, alright, well, to see where you all are going, you all are going to have to do a test. And the entire class, they're like, why? And, they're all bored. And the teacher's like, well, that's what I would say if I didn't know you all want to go to UA, as he throws or you all want to be heroes, as he throws the papers up into the air, and they all start celebrating and using their quirks, except Bakugo and Deku. And that's when Bakugo's like, you're damn right, Teach. But I'm the only one going to UA though. The rest of you would be lucky if you get stuck with some busted D-lister or something. As all the other kids, they're kind of getting a little mad and they're getting ready to fight Bakugo. And then that's when the teacher would pull out the paper and he's like, we actually have 2 students going to UA. As they're like, who? And the first one, teacher's like, well, the first one is Bakukatsuki. I believe you can make it to UA. You have a strong quirk and you are quite smart. And they're like, yeah, it makes sense. It's Bakugo. And for the second person, the teacher goes, and the second one going to UA is Izuku Midoriya, as everyone just starts laughing. And Izuku, he's putting his head down, and Izuku starts to act a whole lot more like Aizawa, really, with him just being kind of sleepy and serious most of the time. And what ends up happening is after class, like after everyone laughing at him, what will happen is Bakugo will then walk up and throw a couple explosions onto Izuku's desk, kind of knocking him out of his chair and everything. And what would happen is Bakugo destroys or burns Izuku's notebook and then goes, hey, Deku, I have a good idea on how you can get a quirk. And Deku, he's like, what is it, Katsuki? And Bakugo, he's a little bit surprised that, he called him Katsuki instead of Kachan. But then, he just brushes it off, and he just goes, if you want a quirk, go and take a swan dive off the roof and pray for a quirk in your next life. As Bakugo and his lackeys walk off laughing. As Deku, he's like, you shouldn't say that stuff, Katsuki. Now, what if I actually did it? Then what would happen? And afterward, Deku, he decides, he leaves after packing up his stuff and grabbing his notebook. He leaves, he's heading home. And what happens is, on the way home, he decides to take a shortcut under a little underpass. And after going under that underpass, as he's going, he's about to go to the other side of the underpass when a little manhole cover would then shoot out of the ground. And out would come this sludge-like person. And the person would look at Deku and then just goes, I guess he's the only one I can go with at the moment. As he just lunges at me, he just says, give me your body, kid, and begins to suffocate and wrap around Deku. And as Deku's blacking out, he's like, is this how I die? Is this how I really die? And then he thinks about his mom and how much he wants to be a hero, and he's like, no, this can't be how I die. It won't be how I die. As Deku begins to kind of light up a little, as then he would more fuse with the sludge villain. And then, 5 minutes later, All Might would come out and he just goes, ha ha ha, never fear. For I am here. As you know, he pops out of the manhole. He pops out of the manhole and looks towards Deku, and he's like, young man, do you know where the villain went, or have you seen a sludge villain going around anywhere? As Izuku, he looks at All Might and he goes, no, I haven't. Sorry, All Might. And what? And All Might's like, it's alright, young man. I'll see you later. And before All Might could jump off, Izuku's like, wait, All Might. All Might turns around. Izuku's like, I want to ask, is it possible for me to be a hero without a quirk? As All Might looks at him and he just goes, no. Sorry, kid, but you're better off at being a police officer or something. As he jumps off, leaving Deku kind of broken. But then he hears a voice in his head, and the voice is saying, don't worry about him, kid. With me, you'll become a lot stronger. As he's like, wait, what? What do you mean? And Izuku and the monster, or sludge villain, is like, go home, kid. I'll explain everything once we're at your house. Don't tell anything about what happened to your mom. And Izuku, he's like, okay then. As, no, they make it home. He walks in, he says hello to his mom. They eat dinner and everything. And before Izuku goes to bed, he goes into his room. He's sitting there, he's concentrating, and he's talking with the voice, being the sludge villain. And he's like, alright, well, what's your name? As the villain just goes, you can just call me Lasher. As Deku's like, wait, Lasher? Oh, what? That's a nice name, I guess. Lasher, he goes, thanks. The rest of my species gave it to me. And he's like, wait, species? What do you mean? No, Lasher, or the sludge villain, whichever one you want to call him, I'm going to call him Lasher. Lasher begins to tell Izuku, he's like, well, I'm not really from here. I'm not really a quirk. Or I'm not really a human. As he's like, well, what are you? And he's like, well, I'm a Clintar. We're an alien race that are supposed to find hosts. Like, we're supposed to get a host. If we can't find a host, the person we try to attach to ends up dying. As Izuku starts freaking out, he's like, wait, what about me? Am I your host? And Lashley's like, calm down, kid. Yeah, I'm your host. And he's like, well, how? How am I your host? I thought I was gonna die. As he goes, well, what happened, kid, is basically you were going to die because I was trying to forcefully enter your body and mix with you. But seeing how you were fighting back, yeah, you were going to die until your power activated and fused us together. And yeah, now we're just one being. And Izuku, he's a little he's freaking out a little bit. He's like, okay then. I see how that could work. And Izuku, he's like, well, what can we do? As Lashley's like, well, we can do this. He transforms, and basically Izuku begins to just kind of look like this. Like, Izuku just looks like Lasher from the comics. He's like, well, we look like this. We have these tentacles that we can morph into anything we want. And we have a number of dangerous poisons that we can enter into people's bodies at any moment in time. Like, all poisons. As Izuku's like, wait, like, even paralyzing poisons? And Lasher's like, yeah, we even have those. As Izuku would then kind of look at Lasher, or like, not really look at Lasher, but he kind of look it down at himself, and he's like, I think I can get kind of used to this. And Lasher's like, yeah, I think I can get used to you too, kid. As no, he reverts back to his normal self. He reverts back to his normal self. And then, he goes to sleep. while he's in his mind, he's talking to Lasher. And Lasher's like, well, you remember that giant beach full of garbage? And Izuku's like, yeah, what about it? And Lasher goes, well, you're going to be cleaning that up. You're going to be cleaning that place up if you want, to gain more control over me. Or not gain more control, but have more control over my power. You're going to need to train your body more. As he's like, alright, well, what do we do? And, for the 10 months of training, that's what Izuku does. He spends his time cleaning up Dagobah Beach and actually cleaning up a couple other beaches, like just unnamed ones that we're not going to talk about. But he spends his time cleaning up those beaches, and he actually ends up getting quite built. Like, he is quite bulky now. And what happens is Izuku would then, after the 10 months, for 5 months he cleans up Dagobah Beach, and then for the other 5 he spends it cleaning up the other beaches, because he manages to clean up Dagobah Beach quite quickly and gain a lot of muscle while he's at it. So now after that, he transforms into Lasher, and he spends the other 5 months cleaning up there, cleaning up the other unnamed beaches and testing out his tentacles, how long they can go, how sharp are they, what can he turn them into, and what can he turn into as well. And yeah, just all that stuff. And what he decides to do is afterwards, Izuku, once he fully masters it, he decides to use his fusing power to another degree, so to speak. So, it was accidental, but he ends up using his quirk, the fusion quirk. And he's in an alley and he's about to get stabbed by someone. And then, he uses his quirk, seeing how it upgrades. He can now do it at will. So then he grabs that person, he fuses with them. That person, their entire personality and soul and everything just disappears, and all that's left is the quirk. And Izuku, he's kind of looking at, he's thinking about it. He's like, alright, well, what was this quirk that we just got? And I'll let you guys name what the quirk should be. Don't make it too overpowered, but make it something that you think would go good with Lasher. Some you think would go good with this. And what Izuku, decides to do is, he's like, alright, well, I guess we'll train this quirk at UA. And Lasher's, kind of looking at Izuku, and he's like, alright, kid, you do you, I guess. There isn't much I can do to stop you. And so now he transforms back, and once the 10 months of training are over, they're going to now we're going to the UA entrance exams. And Izuku, as he's walking in, he sees a black-haired girl trip. A little short-haired, black-haired girl trip. And he catches her with one of his tendrils and sets her back up on her feet, and he's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. And he's like, okay, that's cool. I'm Izuku Midoriya, by the way. As she looks at me, she goes, well, I'm Yui Kodai. Or I think that's how you pronounce her name. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, Yui Kodai. And he's like, oh, well, nice to meet you, Yui. I guess I'll see you at UA, right? And she's like, yeah, right. And then Izuku would then, he'll go into the entrance, like he'll go in, and then at first it's the written exam, and he gets a good, like he gets like 89%. Cause I mean he's smart, but he's not complete like perfectly smart, but he is still smart nonetheless. Like smarter than most, like all of 1A. Like he's smarter than all of 1A, but still not smarter than Nezu. And after he's doing that, then comes the practical exam, and President Mike, he's explaining the 1 pointers, the 2 pointers, and all of that as then a blue-haired boy with glasses would then stand up and then look at uh President Mike for saying, excuse me, sir. As Mike's like, yeah, what is it? What is it, little listener? As then the blue-haired boy with glasses would then go, you see, I forgot one of the robots that was in this pamphlet that you all passed out. Now, if you all forgot about this, this is really, like, you all aren't supposed to forget about something like this. This is not how UA should act. And basically, President Mike would then go, oh, that robot that you're talking about, that's the 0 pointer. You don't need to know about that. Just know that it's not worth any points. Just avoid it and run away from it. As what'll then happen is the blue-haired boy with glasses, we know as Ida, would then turn and be like, and you, stop sleeping during while the hero is talking. Don't you have any type of respect? As Deku would then open his eye and just be like, shut up. He was going to explain the 0 pointer until you decided to get up and interrupt him, so I don't even know why you're doing this. And really, you're disrupting more than I am. I'm just sleeping. You're yelling at me. So be quiet. As one of his tentacles comes out of Izuku's back and sharpens into like a spear type tentacle and points at Ida. No, Ida looks around and he sees that everyone's just kind of staring at him awkwardly. So Ida just goes, I'm sorry for interrupting. Please continue," as he sits down. And basically what happens is President Mike's like, alright, well, it's time for you all to get ready for your practical exam. As everyone lines up, Deku starts walking towards the front because, Lasher would kind of bulldoze them. Not gonna lie. So he goes to the front. Deku's like 6 foot. Like, he's 6'9", so he is actually kind of tall. I'm just gonna make him that tall because why not? But yeah, he's 6'9", and what Deku decides to do is, he makes to the front after, just kind of slapping Ida out of the way with his tentacles, because Ida thought he was going to go disrupt Ochako, but he wasn't. So now Deku gets to the front, and the doors open as Deku quickly transforms into Lasher, and then just starts bolting out. Like, he bolts past the gate and starts demolishing he starts demolishing every single one of the robots. And everyone, they're like, hey, he's cheating, as President Mike would then speak up. He's like, there's no countdowns in a real fight. Go, go, go. As they're all like, oh, damn, he's right. And they all start running and everything. And that's actually where I'm going to leave it off for now. That's just part 1. And yeah, I personally like this What If. I'm going to keep doing more of it, because it's something I never really thought of. So yeah, I'm going to definitely keep doing more of this. if you all want more, like, well, I'm still gonna make more, but if you all like really want more, let's get to like, I don't know, just 10 likes just to start it off for now. Like, let's get this up to 10 likes. And be sure to, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications if you like my videos. If you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. It's perfectly fine. And if you have any feedback or you have any questions or, you have any ideas you want to give me or tell me about, you can also put those in the comments as well. And yeah, that's Mara Uchiha signing off. I'll see you all later today.